Welcome to the Inner Sauce. It's a podcast about stuff. Yeah.
My familia of the sauce. What's going on, SauceyFam? Welcome back, everybody, to the Inner Sauce. That's right, you have just stumbled in to the Inner Sauce. Episode 6, baby. Live and underway. Yeah, man, this one might not go very long. I've told you guys all along that the topics that I want to discuss on here are things that I'm passionate about, things that I either really feel need change or talking about, whatever it might be. It has to be something that I am affected by or impacted by personally. Has to be something that I have some passion for. And I've just kind of hit a block the last day or two, so I wasn't really sure where to go with it this week. Until I started just thinking about my days over the last few days and what we've been doing. And Saucy Mom and I found this show on Netflix. It's a new show. It's like a sci-fi horror. I don't know, but it's really dark because of its religion relations. It's all based on the Bible, and it's just a really dark movie. It's not even a movie, actually. It's a series. It's a one-off series. I won't spoil it for anybody, but that's the gist of it. And after one of the episodes, before we were going to bed, I was telling her, and I was just kind of thinking out loud. It's amazing to me. It's really amazing to me when you think about the root of the things that are the biggest dividers amongst human beings. You would think all living the very similar struggles, all living the very similar storyline as far as birth, live for a while, death. Nobody knows what's on the other side. That you heard me right. You heard me right. Nobody knows what's on the other side. Okay? I'm sorry, but that's just the facts, you know? Absolutely nothing wrong with being faithful. I've told you guys all along, I am a very spiritual person. I absolutely believe in a higher power. And I don't judge anybody for however they go about their business in that department. That is very personal, I think. But it just really made me think about the root of it and how big of a divider religion is amongst human beings. I mean, you talk skin color and religion, and that's what? 80% of our hatred in the world, you know what I mean? And it's based off of things that are quote unquote promoting love, you know? And like I said to Saucy Mom, I said, you know what's crazy is there's all these different books, right? In my religion, we have the Bible. There's all these different books. If one of them is wrong, I'm sorry, I take that back. If one of them is right, let's say after all these thousands of years, this game of telephone just defeated all the odds. It was the first game of telephone ever to get all the information correct over all these years. It never changed the story, all the times that it's been rewritten and all these other things. Let's say one of these books is still to this day correct. That means all of the other ones are wrong? Or if any of the other ones are right, that means ours amongst the rest are wrong. Yet, based on which story we choose to dedicate ourselves to and just live by, there is not everybody, absolutely not everybody, but there, you cannot deny there is so much division and hatred in this world stemmed from religion and religious beliefs. How does that make sense? It's, it's like an oxymoron, kind of. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but I don't get it. Where did we go wrong? Where the core of us all being humans and all sharing this crazy, magical, unique gift of life, wherever it comes from, we lost touch with being able to share in that gift together and be truly just equals over the color of our skin and which story we decided to believe. I just don't buy it, Now, I'm not going to sit here and preach about my beliefs or your beliefs or anybody's beliefs. My stance is pretty simple. Believe whatever you in your heart believe, okay? Do whatever you think is right. If you think you have to do X, Y, and Z to end up in some certain place at the end of this whole deal, by all means, do everything that you feel is right in your heart. I have no quarrels with that at all. But don't rub it in anybody's face. That's something. So, a little bit about SauceyDad here. I'm not talking about something I don't know. I was put in a private Catholic school from 1st grade to 8th grade. So my homerooms, I had my entire grade was the same size student count wise as like one homeroom class in any other public school. A very small group of people. Everybody knew everything about everyone. But I had religion class. I had an actual religion class every day from 1st grade to 8th grade. Family was religious. Grandparents go to church every Sunday. My family kind of did off and on. I was an altar boy at one point for a very short period of time. I don't know. Again, I'm not here to preach about what I think about this or that religion or any of that stuff. That's not what this is about at all. This is about us. And I don't even know how we get to a place where we get beyond this. But when you really just sit back and think about it, okay, put your beliefs aside, okay? Stop, you don't have to be right, okay? You don't have to try to make everybody see what you see. You can't do that, unfortunately. You can't do that. Can't do that. It doesn't work. Humanity does not work that way. The human mind, the human brain, perception, individuality, it doesn't work that way. So you're doing everybody a disservice when you try to force things on people. Throw it out there once, sure. And they know where it is. They know how to find you if that's what they want to do. But don't force it on people. But yeah, so Catholic school, altar boy, all that jazz. And I was pretty submerged in it, And then when you just start seeing the world for what it is, as an adult, you grow up, you see, like I just said, you see the world for what it is, and you see all these different religions. I don't know how many people do this, but I have read a lot about several. I'm not going to say all because I don't even think I know all of the religions. There is several of them. But I have read a lot of the other religions' stories, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting to think that you have this whole population of people that have the same amount of dedication and belief in their story that we do in our story. We can't both be right. You know, we can't both be right. So why does it cause so much hate? Isn't the point of the whole thing? Isn't the reason why you would want to dedicate all your time or as much of your time as possible to someplace like a church or a community, whatever it might be? Isn't the idea to try to be the best person that you can be and just try to be loving and helpful to hopefully earn your spot at the end of it? Or maybe it's not even for earning your spot at the end of it. Maybe it's just for that. Maybe it's just to be a good person and to have that feeling of giving back and helping. Maybe it's that. But so the show I was talking about earlier, I don't even know if I said the title. It's called Midnight Mass. And like I said, it's very dark. But it's pretty wild. Like me, for instance, I was submerged in religion for the first 20 years of my life. Well, maybe 15 years of my life. And I didn't know a lot of these stories. There's parts of the Bible that are not meant for kids, apparently. I never knew that. It's pretty crazy stuff in there. Which, from the times that it was written in, I'm sure there was some pretty crazy stuff going on. But it just really makes you think, it makes you wonder when people hang on every word of something, of a book like the Bible, when they hang on every word of it, when every story is, no, that's not what happened. It says right here, but you don't think that whoever wrote that down perceived the world differently than we do in 2022? So when they say somebody did something, think about that in your head and what could they have been looking at? What could they have been watching take place for them to write down what they wrote down? Chances are it's probably not what we interpret that sentence as today. I mean, that's just kind of, I don't know. That's what I would think anyways. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. I think it's absolutely essential to find your way into at least being spiritual. Because we don't have all the answers. We don't know how we got here and all these other things. You'll hear I don't even know the names of all these different groups, because like I said, I'm just not that invested in it. But is it Scientologists? Is that what they call themselves? Whatever. They have an actual picture. They can see the Big Bang. We can see so far out that we can see the actual Big Bang. So we know it happened. That's a fact. We know for a fact that took place. Now, how did everything get formed and life and all this magical, amazing stuff? Who knows? Who knows? The truth is nobody does. Not many people want to accept that anymore, but the truth is nobody does. You can believe it with all your heart. And like I said, I don't blame anybody for that. I don't have any problem with that. I think it's great. I think it's essential to do something along those lines, to keep yourself grounded, to keep yourself motivated and with good intention. All of those things come from being spiritual, or I hate the word worship, because I'm not there yet. I'm just not there. Like I said, I'm a seer. I'm a seer. this is just such a sensitive topic, and I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to... I've stated several times, on purpose, I have absolutely no problem with anybody's beliefs or how much time they dedicate to said beliefs. There's nothing wrong with that. It is, in fact, a great thing to make part of your life. Not arguing that at all. Totally believe in it, in fact. To get back to my point, after watching a show like that, and obviously this is television, it's exaggerated dramatically, it's, the stretched way beyond belief, but they're reading passages from the Bible in this movie. And to watch the way that these characters, again, very well aware, they are characters, but the way that they hang on every word of these parables and excerpts and all these things, you realize you could be totally interpreting what that says in a completely different way than it was intended. And based on what is written down there, I don't even know the correct wording here, to be totally honest. You're not supportive of another human being because they don't believe what you believe. In this movie, it took place on it's a show. I keep saying movie. It took place on an island, okay, where everybody on the island, very small population, everybody on the island was Catholic. The sheriff that had moved there a year prior, him and his son, were Muslim. And it just really made me think, like, man, it's an exaggerated example, sure, but you better believe there's places and people like this in the world that take it to this place. They take it that far. Their story is the story. And if you don't believe it, then, well, you don't have a place where I do at the end of our lives. I'm sorry, but, well, I'm going here and I'm not sure where you're going to go because you don't believe in the right one. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I have such a hard time with that part of it. Spiritual, sure. Higher power, 100% absolutely. What? But there's all these different ones and they came about in all these different ways. And because of that, there's so much hate amongst people. There's so much division based on these ancient stories. Like, you've got to be joking. The things that separate us in 2022. We got to be better. We got to do better. We have to. Skin color. Friggin' who we want in our bedroom at night. What invisible person we're, getting on our knees talking to. Well, mine is named this and looks like this and came from this and did this for us. Well, mine did this and looks like that. Like, are we serious? It's just, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. When you really sit back and think about it, if you let yourself, if you're not too deep in and too wrapped up and, if you can actually open your mind and really think about it, the chances that any of us are 100% right, it's almost zero. Have you ever played telephone with a group of like 10 people? The sentence never, the sentence, one sentence, never ends the same. There's always a word missing or twisted or mixed up amongst 10 people with one sentence. I mean, come on, And like I said, that doesn't mean you can't believe. That doesn't mean you can't use whatever you need to use for motivation to be a great person and to be giving and loving and help others and make sacrifices. All these things that I think are at the core of being a good human being, which is all I'm concerned about. That's all I'm concerned about. To be totally frank with you, that is all I'm concerned about, is being the best human being that I can be. That means I don't see skin color. I don't. I also don't think I need to go someplace where they hand me a basket for money every Sunday to be, a spiritual person. I don't think I do. I struggle with many parts of it. I struggle with many parts of what man has done to these things. So many people forget that. People totally lose sight of the fact that these places you go to on Sunday and so many pieces of this puzzle these days were made by us. It was done by us. Well, we're in his image and that's his will. Okay, so you're telling me that nuclear bombs are in his will? And, ticks are in his... think about that. Think about that for a second. Where is the line from... I don't know how I want to say what I was just thinking, so I'm going to just not say it at all, because I am not here to offend. Obviously, this is a very sensitive subject, but I really want this to be as non-controversial as possible, because the point of what inspired me to talk about this at the core is how silly it is that we let things like religion and skin color divide this planet to the point that we have allowed it to divide us. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I hear it everywhere I go. I'm in the social media world, so I see it everywhere I go. I see it every single day. Every day, dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times, when somebody has predetermined thoughts or assumptions about somebody else because of the way they look and what religion they happen to be a part of. That is the craziest. Do you think whoever it is that you're talking to when you're praying, do you think that was ever their intentions? There's no way you believe the rest of that book, but also believe that part. That you can't. You can't. It's a big old contradiction. I wish we could value what actually matters. What I can put my hands on, what's in front of us. Spending time with the people that you love or the people that love you. I talk about it in my YouTube videos all the time. And the example I always give is, I'm never going to be as young as I am right now, ever again. Oh, I'm older than I was when I just said that. Oh, I'm closer to the end of my journey right now than I was when I just said that. Oh, I'm closer to the end again. People don't realize how fast it moves, how fast it goes. And we have no idea where the end of our clock is. We don't know. We walk around like we do. We act like we do. We live life like we do. And then we put all of our eggs in these baskets that we're not even sure. We're not even sure. I don't know. It's just, it's sad to me because, like I said earlier, these things that are all about love and all about unity and, we're all one and all of this other stuff. Boy, it really doesn't look like that outside of those worship buildings. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I've seen it in many forms, and religion is just one of them. This is in the addiction world. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I've been, just by the nature of my journey thus far in life, I have seen a lot of these different methods or examples. It's a better word. I've seen several of these different examples of this division that it causes, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I don't know, it's just, do what you have to do to feel like a good person. Do what you have to do to keep yourself grounded, motivated, full of love and living life, but I just don't know, like, I don't know. Knowing that I don't know where the end of my clock is, okay? I'm never going to get this moment right now. It's gone forever. It's never going to happen again. Knowing that, I just want to go down and hang out with my kids again. That's all I want to do. I want to go hang out with my kids again. I want to go for a walk with the family and just make memories. I just want to, like, if there is a flashing of your life at the end of this whole thing, I want it to just be like a long dual VHS movie. That's what I'm going for. I want everybody in my life to know that I love them. I want everybody in my life to know that I want to be the best me, And my journey to get to that place is 100% of the time going to be different than it was for anybody else to get to that place. Because there's only one me. There's only one me. Did you know there's 7 billion people, 7.7 billion people on the world? There's not 2 of us that have the same set of fingerprints. Did you know that? 7.7 billion people on Earth, and then all the billions that have come and gone. There's no duplicate fingerprint sets. And look at the size of of your fingertip. There's not one other person in 7.7 billion of you that has the same fingerprints as you. There is one you. One you. And that's why I stress these things all the time in my content, because it's something that I am thoroughly passionate about. I have learned. It is so hard coming from where I came from, dealing with the things that I've dealt with and gone through. It can be very hard, nearly impossible, to get to that place, to get to a place where you even know what the best you is, where you know what that means, the place that I ideally want to be. I can't even say that I'm there yet, because I'm not. I would be lying to myself and you. I am the only one that my decisions should matter to. And the people that want to support and love me for who I am, I would love to be a part of their life and love and support them as well. That's kind of the way humanity should work. But I'm not there yet. For whatever reason, one reason or another, parts of my childhood that stuck with me, which I had a great childhood. I was beyond blessed, very lucky. But you just never know. Things that you retain, nobody did anything wrong. It's things that I perceived a certain way, and then my addiction that I went through, all these different things change the chemical makeup of your brain. They literally alter the way that you think. Literally. So here I am on the other side, often questioning, to be honest with you, always questioning myself. Always doubting, always, there's this little douchebag that lives in my head that is just constantly telling me how much nobody believes in me, how much nobody is going to support what I'm doing, how I am wasting my time with everything that I do. I will never make it to where I dream of making it to. It's literally every day. Every day. So I've gone to the extent of, you guys have heard me talk about it, watching a lot of motivational content and listening to other people that deal with those things, because it's a pretty common ordeal. I don't know if that has to do with society in general today. People don't want to believe it or accept it, or, back in my day, blah, blah. You just don't understand. If you don't understand, you don't understand. That's okay. You can't blame somebody for something they don't know. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it's a whole different world today. And it's going to be a whole different world for my kids than it was for me. The world isn't just changing. The world is changing at light speed. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. Like, how I know I'm bouncing around here, but how are we gonna, as things get harder and harder for people to unify and people to find common ground and be supportive, if we're going into this next age like that, how do you think that's gonna end? We're going further and further into a time where the world around us is just going to divide us more than ever before, more than religion, more than race, more than sexual orientation, more than literally anything ever. And we're going into it already divided. I mean, what chance do you stand, What chance do you stand in that scenario? Not much. Not much of a chance. So, I just think if we could, and again, I don't have the answers, obviously. I would be much further along in life and other aspects if I did have the answers. But I don't. I just wish we could somehow believe what we believe without worrying about what somebody else believes. Whether they're a relative or a friend or whatever, who cares what they believe? Who cares what they believe? I can see if it's coming from a place of you wanting the best for somebody and you wanting them to see what you see and feel what you feel and get from it what you're getting from it. But the chances of that, like I said, are so slim. It's so small. Why not just take that same amount of time, take that way less energy, way less effort, and just love them? Just love that person, that same person. Just love them. Just support them, love them, try to be relatable with them, try to support everything that they do. Just be a positive force in their life. They don't have to believe what you believe for you to support them. Or do they? Or do they? Or do they have to look like you for you to support them? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. This is such an amazing, I just look around and it's insane. It's insane to think that We're capable of everything we're capable of, and we go to sleep, our brain shuts off, and we wake back up, and all these insanely intricate parts of our anatomy, and life is just so fragile. Yet we divide ourselves over stories and skin color. It's messed up. It's sad. And what's worse is people think it's an accident. People think it's just by coincidence because they don't even see it. They don't even see it. You should go check it out sometime. Go check out all the people have put together compilations of all these little things that are in our everyday lives that make us see certain people a certain way that we don't even realize it. By the time we just go through our life, we go through our everyday and doing our thing, going through our routine, and all of a sudden you come face to face with somebody and something about them, you just get uncomfortable. And you don't even know why. It's not an accident. Like I said earlier, all of this stuff has had man's hands on it now. Free will and choices are all over all of these things now. Why does money have any part in any of this? Money? What used to be trees, part of the earth, creating oxygen for us to live? That stuff that we now use to trade things, and why does that play a part in our beliefs? Well, because man's hands are all over it. It's not that complicated. It's just hard for some people to see, especially once you get really deep down into it. And I want to just keep reiterating, guys, because it's very important to me that you don't take away from this that I'm against any of these things, because I'm absolutely not. I told you, I was submerged in it for the better part of my life. Almost all of my family still attends church on a regular basis. I am absolutely a spiritual person that does believe in a higher power. I can't get to a place where I pick one of the stories over the other ones. That's not in the cards for me, but that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change anything for me. I'm not going to get anything less from it than somebody else does. I have access to all the same information, and to be quite honest with you, I have access to more information. I can cross-reference all these different stories because I'm not tied to one of them. I can cross-reference them all and see what common ground they have, see what differences they have, I'm not going to let it divide me. I want to understand that person. That same person that when I come face to face with them and was uncomfortable earlier, I want to come face to face with them and feel like, oh man, it'd be cool to hit it off with this person because I feel like I have stuff to talk about with them already. Because check this out, I actually did some research and read up on their background. I'm not just walking around with my shirt tucked in and my chest poked out thinking that my story is the story and, you're just wrong if you don't believe it. No, I want to learn everybody so that I am able to love and support everybody. You can't support somebody that you don't know anything about. You can try, and that's nothing wrong with that either. But think about how much more you can do for someone that you actually understand, that you know what their needs are. You know a little bit, at least, about what their struggles are. Think about how much more you can do for that person than somebody that you know nothing about. Instead of picture those two scenarios, right? Let's say I walk up to one person from another religion and another race next to somebody else, okay? It's me and somebody else that I know, whoever. And all they know is our religion, okay, and our race. We walk up to this same person of another ethnicity and another religious belief, think about the two different perspectives. Whoever I'm with is kind of intimidated, a little uncomfortable. All they have to offer that person is what they know. All they have to offer that person is their story. There is no relatability. There is no relatability. It's two people of two different races that have been, all of their lives subconsciously taught to not like the other person without even knowing it. That's just on initial reading a book by its cover. That's just on appearance. And then once you go into beliefs, well, now they're just not even close to being compatible, because the person that I'm with only knows their story and they don't really care to know anybody else's story because theirs is right. So what's the point? Theirs is the one, so why learn the other ones? Imagine if everybody did that. Imagine if that was a common practice, was to learn all of the religions, learn all of the races and cultures, things that we should actually be teaching our kids. Especially in a country like America, I live in Maine, for God's sakes, and every single job site that I've been on in my life, when I was in the construction world, it was never all white guys. I can tell you that. And I live in Maine. All across this country is people from different places and skin colors and religions and all these other things. And it's before we even know anything about them, we're divided. How much more would you have to offer somebody if you could actually relate to them? If you could actually relate to that person and knew even just a little bit, even just some terminology or whatever, just to make them feel comfortable, which in turn is going to make you feel comfortable, already that interaction is beneficial for both parties, and the chances of somebody leaving there getting something from it it's very high. It's very high. Versus, like I said, the other person that I came to that conversation with, they just left uncomfortable and with probably with more assumptions about the other person because they couldn't find any common ground, so you just give up on it, you walk away. You're still right, they're still wrong. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And all of these things leads to war and terror. But it's about love, though. It's about love. But then all of these things are the results of all these different stories. I don't know. And again, I wish I had the answers. I wish I knew what we should do to get to that point. Other than teaching more than one religion and teaching actual helpful details about other cultures in our schools, which we all know the chances of that happening. But other than that, what else do we do? What else do we do? At the end of the day, people have to want these things for them to stand a chance, for them to ever begin to happen. People have to see that there's a problem, which is a problem. But people have to see that there's a problem, see that, I could be a little more open-minded. I could be a little less forceful and braggadocious about my beliefs, and maybe let the air out of my chest a little bit, untuck my shirt, let loose, and maybe just listen. Maybe just listen. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't think this one would go for very long. I don't know how much more I have to say on this whole deal. I've pretty much got my point across. I would love to hear what you guys think about all of this. And let's use my comment sections on whatever platform it is that you're hearing this on. I know, like, my Patreon page, you know, these people are actual saints, so I have no concerns there. But, you know, when this goes live on YouTube at the end of the week and wherever you might hear it, whatever interaction that you have in the comment section or whatever it might be based off of this topic, try to just listen. Remember this moment right now and just try to listen. Try to stop yourself from wanting to, yeah, but, well, you know, save your I'm right moment. Save your, it's not necessary. Just listen. Just listen to each other. Everybody can speak their truth without anybody being wrong for it. That's actually possible, you know. I don't know how much that's taught in these, whatever. You know what I'm getting at. I don't know how much that's taught in these different places, if you will. Everybody can speak their truth without anybody being wrong. I like that. I'm going to make a shirt. If we all speak our truth, we'll never be wrong. Oh, man. But again, please don't take from this any negativity. Please don't take from this any hatred. Please don't. My intention was the complete opposite. And once I get talking and my heart comes out, there's not much I can do about that. That's kind of the point of this whole thing. I'm not here to filter myself anymore. Because, little callback here, well, I'm never going to be as young as I am right now ever again. So, I'm letting it fly, baby. However it makes you feel, well, it makes you feel like that, you know? Do with that what you will. I'm sorry, I guess, but not really, you know? I've had quite the road to get to where I am right now, and I'm still far from out of the woods. So it's nice to find comfort in, you know, as you make your way through your journey and as you do grow up, if it kind of feels like you achieve different levels, like you conquer different parts of your life. And I feel like this is one area of my life that I am 100% comfortable and confident in. That I feel like I know exactly what I want to put out, what I want to get in, and I am absolutely happy with where I'm at in this department right here. I am. Now, there's still things that I have to work on as far as self-confidence and stuff like that goes, and those are just deep-seated, I don't even know why. I don't have any reason to have those issues, but they exist. I just recorded a video before starting this episode here, and we listened to a song that was all about just that. How fear can control us, and this little voice in our head, this self-doubt, and just not thinking that we're good enough, constantly telling yourself that your parents are not proud of you, and you know they think you made an awful decision or whatever it might be. Those are other parts that I definitely still have left to work on. Somebody enlightened me the other day about this thing called Imposter Syndrome. Diane, if you're listening, thank you. But she said that her and her son both suffer from the same thing. So it's called Imposter Syndrome, and basically it's the inability, it's not even a lack of, it's an inability to believe that you deserve success. And I was kind of standoffish at first. I was like, yeah, you know, I can see how that would work, but that's not me. But it is. I kind of accepted that. It makes far too much sense after what I've read and knowing my journey. It's exactly what it is. I, somewhere in my head, in my heart, in my soul, don't believe I deserve to be happy or to be successful. I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. But it's like every time I get to a place of success, every time I achieve certain things or get to a certain point, whether it be in a job or whatever, I immediately, quote unquote, screw it up. I know what I'm doing. I'm pretty smart, believe it or not. And I know that about myself. I'm a pretty smart guy. I have a good perspective. I have good intuition. I was raised to have all of those things. In abundance, I might add. I have great people skills. Yet, there's one person that I've never quite been able to convince. And that's me. It's kind of wild. Kind of wild. I guess we're kind of venturing off into a part 2 here, but we're just letting the heart fly. I'm just basically trying to put it out there that although I am very comfortable with my belief area, the belief area of my life, I am absolutely confident and comfortable where I stand there. I am far from having everything figured out. I don't know if you ever do, you know? I don't know if anybody ever does. Maybe Elon Musk, but he probably bought the knowledge. But yeah, that's all I'm trying to get at is I definitely feel like, because somebody might absolutely think they do deserve success and have the total opposite problem and totally struggle with the religion part because they don't want to upset their parents with what they believe. Or they don't want to upset their parents with who they're friends with because of how they look, right? We could have the total opposite problems and be good at the total opposite things. And guess what, man? How good would we be for each other? Man, if we ever met, how good would we be for each other? I can't wait for that day. I anticipate that day is going to happen. I truly believe that. How many of you can say the same? How many of you would actually make friends with somebody that didn't look like you? Genuinely. Not on the surface. Not be polite to them and then turn around and go your separate way. Like, genuinely see them as an equal. Can you do that? Is that in you? Can you see them as a human being? Can you see them as exactly you? Can you see them as a human being? No better or worse than you. Can you? I don't know how many people can say yes to that. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot. But I'd be surprised to know if there was too many of them. That would surprise me. That would surprise me. Yeah. If anybody knows anything about that, by the way, that's something I'm really starting to get interested in, is the whole imposter syndrome thing. I found that very, very interesting. I had never heard of it before. And when I started reading about it and then just kind of revisiting my story, I was kind of shocked. Literally every job I've ever had, I've gone right to the top. I mean, in the amount of time that I was there, I went as far as one could possibly go. Oftentimes further. Almost always further. And then I mysteriously screw it up. And it's not consciously. It's absolutely never been something that I did intentionally. But now that I think about it, it's always been there subconsciously. It's absolutely always been me who didn't believe in me. And not even not believing, it's not thinking I deserve it. Like, what the hell is that all about? You know? Like, I absolutely love this content journey that I'm on. I love where I want it to go. I've never felt more sure about anything in my life. I am absolutely in this for the long run. But I gotta tell you, after reading that, it's so bizarre catching myself doing these things now. Like when I see the YouTube channel and I was thinking, you know, I know roughly how many people we gain in subscribers every day, so I can just kind of look at it and know roughly when I'm going to hit a certain number, you know? So I was like, man, wow, by next month we'll be at 25,000. And I immediately get this sense of like, I should just stop. Like, why? Why would you ever stop? But I had that thought. I had that thought. That I can't even explain it really. Like, I shouldn't keep going. What do you mean you shouldn't keep going? People work for years to get to where I'm at with content, and it's taken me a year. That's insane. And I can say that to you. I can tell you that I think it's crazy, that I know how rare it is, because I do. But it's so weird. I can't even put it into words, man. It's literally right now, in this moment, it's like I feel this like faint little echo voice in the back of my head. Just, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve to win. You don't deserve to win. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes. I'm honestly pretty shocked I'm holding it together right now, because it is a very emotional topic. It's pretty hard to get a grasp of, especially when you don't know how to fix it, you know? When you know that it's something that's holding you back to that extent. Something that I know how great this whole thing could be. And it's me that's holding it back, but I don't even know how to do anything about it, you know? That's a pretty crappy ordeal. It's a pretty crappy ordeal. But, so I would love to know more about it. If anybody is familiar with the imposter syndrome, if anybody has ever dealt with that before, what did you do? What are you doing? You know? I think a lot of it stems from addiction. I did things that I am just not proud of. Stealing, all kinds of stuff that was absolutely so far from who I am and who I was prior to drugs. I did so many things during my addiction that I don't think I ever forgave myself for, you know? And maybe that has something to do with it. I'm just pulling at straws, to be total. I have no idea. I'm just trying to rack my brain and think of what it could be. But there is most definitely a voice there. Every time a video of mine does, 50, 60,000 views, I get a little excited on the surface, but then that excitement is accompanied by this little voice that says, that was just dumb luck. That was just dumb luck. You'll never be able to do that again. It's kind of weird. And to be honest, it sucks. I'm not looking for pity. I don't, absolutely not looking for pity. I am looking for maybe some advice or some pointers on what tools I could use to fix it. Because let me tell you what, I can't even imagine what we could turn this into if I didn't have that. And then I see good grief, some of the people that have all the confidence in the world, it's like, man, what mirror are you using? I'm not trying to be mean, but where did you get that confidence? Who lied to you? I know. I'm not going to the good place. I know. No, I'm just kidding. I am. And I'm not spending any money to get there, damn it. Oh, boy. I kid. So, yeah. I guess we did 2 topics today. No big deal. They somewhat relate, right? I made them relate anyways. See how I did that? But yeah, guys. It's an hour in the books. That's probably good, I guess. I would love to hear more. I would love to hear from anybody on either topic. If you go to my link tree, which is in the description, wherever you're watching this, there's a description underneath it. And there is a link there for my link tree. That's where you can find all of my stuff. You can email me from there. You can send me all of your money from there. There's sorry, I just wanted to let that resonate for a second. No, but you can, the YouTube's on there, the Twitch is on there, everything is on there. So, Twitter, Instagram, all those fun things. So if you guys are looking for SauceyDad, go to the link tree. I'd love to get some emails about it. I love talking with you guys. Good conversation is valued. Yeah. Let me know your stance on the first topic, and if you know anything about the imposter syndrome, and maybe some, maybe some practices that I could use to train myself out of it. Because I know that's really, at the end of the day, that's all it really is finding a way to retrain my brain. That's all. I did it once to get off of drugs. So I guess this is part 2 of that, basically. Or maybe you could call it finishing what I started when I did that. That's probably more accurate. Anywho, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to The Inner Sauce, episode 6. I'm SauceyDad, guys. I'll catch you guys in episode 7. Go check out the YouTube. We got a bunch of content dropping. I'm going live over there Thursday night. We're going to listen to some good tunes and just hang out. But, yeah. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay safe out there, guys. Peace out. SauceyFam.